There are lots of companies out there that are selling Pixel soundboards with micro SD cards. That's so you can add more sound fonts and music and customize the blade styles and ignition effects, things like that. One company though hasn't really jumped on board, and that's TXQSABER. So finally, they have released their new SN Pixel V4 Core, which of course now has micro SD capabilities. Let me show you. Hello to everyone watching, to all my Jedi and Sith companions, all my subscribers. Thanks for tuning in to an unboxing and review with me, your host, the Frugal Jedi. Today we're looking at the SN Pixel V4 Lightsaber Core by TXQSABER. So what's the difference between SN Pixel V4 and SN Pixel V3? The SN Pixel V3 you find in a lot of lightsabers. For instance, the Sabneo V8 uses it, the Ghost that I reviewed, and you can get it in 2 buttons or a single button configuration. Very common. The SN Pixel V3 has 16 sound fonts. It has 3 music files, different lighting effects, and ignition types. So the SN Pixel V4 is everything the SN Pixel V3 has, but now you can add more sound fonts and music because they've introduced an SD card. The lightsaber model that I'm going to be reviewing today was sent to me by TXQSABER. This is the single button SN Pixel V4. Later on, I'm going to be reviewing a 2-button model to show you the difference. Currently, the SN Pixel V4 pricing isn't available on the description. You're going to have to message them directly and ask them how much difference it is between the SN Pixel V3 pricing and the V4. Today is more about showing you what it can do and learning about the changes. Please keep in mind that the SN Pixel V4 that TXQSABER sent me is a very early build. So there will be changes coming up later on. It might not be exactly the same as this one. There will be improvements and new firmware updates as time goes on. So everything I show you here, keep in mind that it is a prototype version. I'm going to point the camera down at the table, unbox it, and then I'll show you everything it can do. Inside the box, you're going to get your standard assortment of accessories. Your charging cable, Allen key, and screws. They include a blade plug, which is great. You get the 32-inch pixel blade. And your hilt, which is bubble wrapped. Really cool looking design. I love that brushed look with the black and really grippy. I like that. And I like the way those fins extend from the emitter and all the cutouts. Pommel has an interesting design as well. Yeah, this is going to be very comfortable to spin. To attach the blade to the hilt, going to pop it in, and you want to hold it, and there are 3 screws, 1 on each side and then 1 on the back. Now that the lightsaber is assembled, let me first show you how to charge it and how to remove the SD card. Very important that the power is off. So there should be no
power on
light on the saber. And to shut it off, hold down the power button.
Off.
It'll say power off, and now the power is off. So you can see your soundboard, the SM Pixel V4 with the micro SD card. And where the battery is, you have a USB-C charging port. You plug in the cable and you want to use a 1 amp 5 volt wall adapter. The light will turn on red, and when it's done charging, it'll change color, and it'll also tell you when it's done charging as well. So to remove the SD card, you want to use your finger and pull it out. Now I find it easier if you have the Saber flipped with the SD card pointed down, and then as you pull it, it'll fall right out. If you have the SD card facing up and you pull it, sometimes what happens is the SD card will go underneath this plastic U, and you have to kind of shake it to get it out. So keep it upside down, pull it out, it'll fall right out every time. And then to put it back, just slide it in. Much easier to get it back in. Okay, let's move on. To turn the Saber into standby mode, hold down the button until it says power on.
Power on.
Okay. So in standby mode, you have your 3 volume modes, and that's with a single light flash. The 2 light flash
Ignition 4.
will cycle through 11 different ignition types. Your steady, your standard ignition, your stacked ignition, photon, and broken ignition. What I like about the SM Pixel V4 is that they actually have them numbered. So I'll show you.
Ignition 5.
So ignition 5, ignition 6, 7, 8, so forth. The SM Pixel V3, when you're choosing ignition styles, it would just make one sound effect and it wouldn't tell you which ignition that you were currently on. Now mind you, this is a prototype version. I don't know if they're going to keep the ignition 1, ignition 2, or if they're going to call it, you know, standard ignition, broken ignition, things like that. If they don't, it's easy to change all the files. And of course, I'm going to have a follow-up video showing you how to add more sound fonts and music, and if you want to change any of the built-in sound files, you can. Holding the button down for 3 light flashes.
Basic 6.
This cycles through the different blade effects. So steady, pulse, unstable, ghost, rainbow, things like that. And there are 9 different blade styles. And once again, they are numbered. So you don't really know what it is until you go to it. But again, you're going to change it as soon as you get the Saber. Holding the button down for 4 light flashes.
Aayla Secura.
That's going to cycle through the sound fonts. And there are 26 sound fonts that are built in. I shouldn't say built in. There are 26 sound fonts that come with it pre-installed, and then you can go ahead and add much more. The other way to change sound fonts is to hold the button down while the Saber's tilted upward, and you can flick your wrist.
Depa Billaba. Kenobi. Count Dooku. Dark Sith Red.
Tell Kestis.
So I love the motion control for changing sound fonts. So much faster than holding the button down for 4 light flashes.
Yoda.
Rey Skywalker.
I am the Inquisitor.
Tell me, is this training?
My training? No. Always training. The universe is.
And you have music files as well. And what's nice with SM Pixel V4 is that the music files are stored with each sound font. So for instance, Luke Skywalker will have his own music. Leia will have her own music. Very similar to XenoPixel. To turn on music, you have the blade tilted downward and hold the button down and flick your wrist. Very nice sound quality too. It's loud, it's clear. The TXQPixel speaker is much better than their RGB one. Let's activate the Saber, and I'll show you a couple more things it can do while it's on. Blaster, of course. have a lock-up effect. Holding it down for 2 light flashes. We'll do a quick color change. You can also do color change by holding it pointing downward and flicking your wrist. So very quick that way. Holding it down for 3 light flashes. We'll turn on Clash, or you can turn it off. And then 4 light flashes will deactivate the blade. Now I've poked around the SD card a little bit and I've played with the configuration file. Like I said, it is very similar to XenoPixel. You can set each sound font to have a certain color of blade, a certain ignition type, and a certain blade type. The one thing that it's lacking is the ability to choose the speed of the blade out and in. I did mention this to TXQ, and it's possible that they are working on an update to allow that to happen. So currently, it's going to have the built-in speed for out and in. Some people don't care about that. I find the speed fine the way it is. Some fonts do look cooler when you have a very slow extend, like the Darksaber, for instance. But again, remember, this is a prototype, and we might see updates in the future that'll add more functionality to the soundboard. Nice responsive smooth swing. You also have force effects. I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but force effect creates a white light that travels in both directions with a sound effect. And again, you can program and add more different sound effects when you do that. You have tip drag as well. And you have melt. Yeah, so it has everything you'd expect on a Pixel lightsaber. All right, I want to play with this saber, so I'm going to demonstrate it, and I'll show you some of the ignitions types and blade styles. It would take way too long to go through everything in a demonstration. I will list all 26 sound fonts that are included, plus the blade styles and the ignition types in the description. But so far, I am impressed with how much it comes with and how much it can do. So yeah, let me swing it around and I'll give you my final thoughts in the end. Very easy to hold. Nice grip on it. Really nice. So it's time for my final thoughts. This is a video where I'm doing two things at once. I am reviewing the SN Pixel V4 core, and I'm also going to be reviewing this hilt design. So first, let me talk about the lightsaber itself, regardless if you were to get RGB or the SN Pixel V3 or the V4. Value for money, you're getting a nice looking saber, good sound quality. The SN Pixel V3 version is incredibly affordable with this particular design. The SN Pixel V4, I don't know how much more it's going to cost you because, like I said, this is extremely new and they haven't updated the products on their store yet. But value for money, TXQSABER, they always have great prices, great sabers, so I'm going to give it 5 stars. Next category is design. The shape of the hilt is really nice. I do love the brush finish with the black and all these cool engravings. Really adds a lot of grip. I like the shape of the pommel. The shape of the emitter is really cool. You have all these different windows. And when I attached the blade to the hilt, I mentioned that there were 3 screws, but there are 4. You have 2 on the back and then 1 on each side. A couple of things though. These fins are extremely sharp. If you were spinning the saber and your hand accidentally went too high, and if your hand moved down, you are going to cut your hand on these fins. That's how sharp they are. TXQ needs to remedy this. They should be filing these down, rounding them out a little bit before they ship a saber like this. The other design issue I have is with how the micro SD card is oriented. When you're pulling it out, it's a little tricky because sometimes it gets stuck underneath that piece of plastic. So that's why you should have it upside down. And just let me show you that quickly here. So as soon as I pull that out, it goes right inside the other section there. So it's a little annoying that they have it like that. So that's why I say have it upside down and then you can pull it out. So for design, it's not horrible, it's beautiful. Those 2 little annoyances though are going to knock it down a little bit. So for design, I'm going to give it a 3.9 out of 5. Next category is features. You have 26 sound fonts that it comes with music files. You have 11 ignition effects and 9 blade styles. You can add more sound fonts and music. You can customize all the different sound files for all the prompts. The only thing I wish it could do is control the speed of the in and the out. And again, right now, this is really early. This is prototype. They might release an update later that'll add more features. But still, you're also getting tip drag and melt and lockup and the motion controls. There's tons of features. So for features, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. And the last category is quality. Everything's packaged nicely from TXQ. Bubble wrap, protection on the blade, nice aluminum, LGT threaded. Sound quality is great. So I have no complaints with quality. Aside from the fact that these are sharp, which that needs to be remedied. So quality still is going to get 5 out of 5. So taking those 4 scores, adding them up, divide by 4, it's going to be getting an average of 4.6. So the SN Pixel V4 lightsaber with this particular model gets a 4.6 out of 5. If you found this video helpful and you enjoyed it, as always, don't forget to click on that like button, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and you'll stay up to date whenever I release new videos. Next episode, I'm going to show you how to update the files on the SM Pixel V4. We'll add some sound fonts, music, customize the blade styles and the ignition effects in the config file, and I'll just go over everything with you and show you how to do it. Until next time, I have been your host, the Frugal Jedi. Thank you all for watching. See you next time.